Hey guys, Phil here. Gosh, it's been a long time since I've done a video, and an even longer time since I've done a book review, and that's what I'm going to do today. And the book is this one. Yes, I don't know which way to go up. It goes this way, I guess. It's InGenius by Tina Seelig. I believe that's how you say her name. Ms. Seelig is a teacher at Stanford University, and perhaps she prefers to be called a professor at Stanford University, teaching a course on creativity. And this book, in fact, is subtitled A Crash Course on Creativity. So let's get right into it, and let me start with my problems, which start right at the subtitle, A Crash Course on Creativity. This book is not that. Imagine like if you bought a book about driving and you said, you know, it's a course on how to drive. Preferably not a crash course on how to drive, but a course on how to drive. And then the book actually was filled with anecdotes telling you what people did in cars. That's what this book is. It's 75% anecdotes, 0% course on creativity, which is ironic because she teaches a course on creativity. There's nothing in here. A course, by my understanding, is kind of steps you can take, maybe to boost your creativity, or concrete exercises you can do. None of that is in here. So if you're looking for some anecdotes about creativity in the business world, and this is because it's not arts, you know, painting creativity, this is business creativity we're talking about, which is a bit of an oxymoron. If you want those anecdotes, you know, like how Google gives everybody 10% of their time to do whatever they want, you know, those anecdotes that a lot of us have heard before. If you want to read them again, they're in here. The other thing that's kind of interesting is that, you know, she spends quite a bit of time talking about how the Western educational system kills creativity, but there's also a whole bunch of research, and I think some of it done by some of her colleagues at Stanford, I might be wrong, is there to show that schooling was designed to kill creativity. It was designed to create conformity. So it's interesting, but then you have to remember that she is somebody whose job it is to teach creativity. So of course, she's going to do two things. One is that she's going to say that you can teach creativity in a school setting, despite the fact that nobody does that. And the other is that everyone can be creative. And then we start to get down to the problems really at the heart of my issues with this book. And the truth is, as I see them, are not everybody can be highly creative. I am one of these people who is not highly creative. Look, I've got guitars and I've spent my life playing music and everything like this. I do not consider myself to be a highly creative person. Not everybody is. You know, and the other thing is, not everybody needs to be, especially not if you're an entrepreneur or if you're in business. A very small part of the time being an entrepreneur, you need to be creative. The art, you need that creativity. There's a very small part of the time that you need that. The rest of the time, you need to get things done, and that is the craft, the skill. The skill is super important. You need to spend lots of time doing that to produce your piece of work. The art is not so much. There's not so much. Of course, you have creativity. I think creativity is built upon skills, the building block of skills. You know, when you know how to do things, and you come up with better ways to do them, but you have to know how to do things. And this book kind of skips over that fact. The craft is the most important thing, not the art. And then maybe to be a little bit political, I'll say that another issue I have with this book is this idea, you know, this Western idea that, you know, everybody should have the life they want, and everybody should get the perfect job, and they should lead the life they want to lead, and all the rest of it, ignoring the fact that really at the heart of it, you know, everybody can't do that. And more importantly, we need people who hopefully their dream job is to earn $1 a day so they can put together the next iPhone. That's the harsh reality. And if you want to get rid of that, if you want to push everybody into an ideal job and an ideal life, then of course, sorry, my watch is going off here. See, somebody spent $1, earned $1 to make this watch, and it's disturbing me. You know, if you're going to need you're going to need to completely change society. And again, not touched on in this book because perhaps it's too big an idea. And she doesn't do a crash course in creativity, but she doesn't do the political side of creativity either. The other issue I have with this book, and again, it's political, and this is my personal bent, is that it's blatantly status quo, blatantly one-percenter capitalist. I mean, they're talking about examples of creativity in the banking system, creativity in the oil business, and everything like that. We don't need to teach bankers creativity. Better ways, more interesting ways to sell us mortgages that we can't afford. We need to teach bankers compassion, and we need to change the banking system. That would be a nice piece of creativity, I think. Not having a team building exercise weekend for hedge fund managers. So, I'm sorry, I'm quite negative on this book. It's not as bad as maybe I'm making out. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Also, somebody said on the internet that I read another review about it, where they said, it should be called a crash course on creativity for extroverts, because if you're an introvert like me, the stuff in this book sounds like hell. I thought we'd done away with open office plans. I've been out of the office world for 15 years, and I had hoped that by now we realized open office plans destroy productivity, destroy your ability to produce something. Maybe they're good for creativity. Tina Seelig seems to think they are, but I do not. There's a bunch of stuff in this book about what does she call it? The habitat that you're in as you're working. And, but as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I know, like Einstein didn't have a zip line running through his office, that when he wanted to get in touch with his inner teenager or blow off steam, that he would zip down the zip line in his office. And if you think of me, using hyperbole, that zip line in the office thing is a real example from Scrib-D. And it was supposed to, talk about how creative they are and everything, but Scrib-D, how creative are they? They had a creative idea that probably predates the zip line, and that is to be a great document on the internet service, which they are. But all the rest of that stuff is kind of window dressing. Sorry. And, I think that gets right down to it. And again, she touches on it, but doesn't really seem to understand the impact of it herself. And that is, I'm putting myself in this boat with you. And that is that the solutions, the things that we're working on, are kind of tiny solutions to tiny problems. Most of us provide things that maybe, hopefully, make life a little bit better. And maybe we're struggling so much to find creativity and creative solutions because what we're doing is really not that important. Sorry, what I'm doing is not really that important. And the odds are what you're doing is not really that important. Funnily enough, in the book, she talks about people who are really doing things that are really important, and they figure a few pages in this book only, because you know what? Those people, they find creative answers because they are so motivated. So, here's what I think. If you want to be creative, number one, build your skill set. Hone your craft so that the skill part of it is not even an issue. You know how to do what you need to do. Second thing is, work on something important that touches you and touches probably a lot of other people and will change this world. I think those two things are going to, propel you to be creative. For the rest of us, whatever, write another app. That's it. Oh, this isn't going to go over well, but I'm just dipping my toes back in. See you around. Thanks for watching. Next time, programming videos. Bye for now.